So we have seen several dimensions of web mining. Okay, usually this web mining is divided into different ways of approach. One of its type is web structural mining. Okay, web usage mining. So using web mining concept, okay, based upon the aspect of the usage with respect to websites. Okay, we are dealing with web servers, we are putting some requests. Okay, so that is the activities that is correlated with the web pages. Okay, and finding some interesting patterns from those activities, that is called as the usage mining. So we are going to the task is outlined. We are going to analyze the behavioral pattern of the activities that is carried out with respect to the web pages, and based on that we are going to infer some statistical reports. Okay, that is the idea behind web usage mining. Okay, so it is out like in VAT. Okay, I want to identify what are all the web URLs which are most frequently accessed by the students. Okay, which are all the IP addresses which are making use of certain uh, test during in using vPropel. So if I want to do some statistical analysis and I want to report based on that, okay. So at such situations we can go for this web usage mining. So one of its type is sessionization. Okay, you might have already we have seen the uh, idea behind this sessionization. Okay, the user logs in or a user starts using web pages to crawl using some web browser, the user session will start. Okay, so that is called a sessionization. How far the time duration they are making use of to access those web pages. Okay, those items will be available in this sessionization profile. So every individual users will have a session IDs which is associated with it, and the entire activity will be captured in the session as a log. Okay, so that is called as sessionization. So using this web usage mining, we can perform several analysis. Okay, several analysis to identify some behavioral pattern. Okay, the based upon the interaction using their internet connection to access the web pages. That is called as web usage mining. Okay, so now we do have several pages which are being available in the collection. People are frequently making use of several resources, and how we can identify some group of people who have some common interest. Okay, that can be identified using this sessionization concept. Okay, so the basic idea behind this web usage mining is web server logs. This is very uh, vital part of performing the sessionization to have some solution. Okay, and then site contents. Okay, what could be the topic upon which the users are searching for. Okay, and the sites which have certain contents and the information about the user profiles. Okay, the people who are making use of to visit certain web pages, sites, okay, and gathering information from several channels. Those are all going to be the input for our web usage mining. What could be the possible outcome? Outcome is we are going to identify some behavioral pattern of the online users. Okay, so one of its type is clickstream data. Even in our lab we have seen this particular data set in our fat lab. Okay, it is outlined. The data is like a given web page will be there, and how many users have clicked on those web pages, how many times the user has visited those web pages. Those log data will be available, and based on the weblog data, which is purely a clickstream data. Clickstream means given several websites. I do have some 20 or 30 websites in my collection, out of which how many users have maximum number of times, which website got the maximum visitors for that website. Okay, that is out like a clickstream analysis. Okay, so this type of operations can be done over here. Now this is a sample web server data. Okay, the web server data will be having several information. Okay, the log is going to contain all the in and out detail with respect to the users and the connecting server and the time, date, everything will be available there. Okay, you see over here the date and time, and then what is the IP address, what is the their activity, whether they are getting it or whether they are posting. Get and post, two methods will be available, right? So get post method, and what is the URL they are looking for, from which browser they are making use of this particular access, everything will be available in this web server logs. Okay, so usually in this web page mining, web usage mining, we have this process out like you'll be having some contents which is available in the websites. It can either be a static or it can be a dynamic content will be available. Okay, and you have a web server log which have been keep on getting stored. Okay, based upon the activity of the user. So initially what will we do is we will perform a task called as sessionization. Okay, identifying various user sessions is one of the part in data pre-processing. So once you're getting all these log data, it will be very clumsy and many relevant and many more irrelevant log records might be available over there, which means it is incomplete data. It is not a useful data for processing. Okay, such information needs to get filtered. It has to get cleaned. Okay, by the task called as sessionization. Okay, so now in today's class we are going to see about what is that sessionization is all about. Okay, so in the pre-processing stage, okay, what we will do is we will first clean the data. We will identify the users and their relevant sessions will be identified, and it will be stored in a database. Okay, as a statistically its data will be available over here, and based on those session identification, their page views will be identified. Okay, given the sessionization can be either be time based heuristic, or it can be based upon the user behavior heuristic. That is the visit based heuristic. Okay, given several timestamps. Okay, how many users are going to visit or log in into that server, and they are accessing several web pages. That is going to be time based heuristic approach for identifying the sessions. Another interesting category is web page based. Okay, that is, you will be focusing on some 10 or 20 web pages, and you will find all the users which are logging through that particular server. Okay, whether they are visiting that particular web page or not. That is going to be like page visit based session identification. Okay, so based upon this identification, we are going to do another task that is called as path completion. Path completion means how many users have visited through this particular path. That means from URL A to referral URL B, B to C, C to D. So like that, the path, the entire activity. Today I am logging into my into the web server using the internet. It is available through VAT. Okay, and I am visiting several pages. At the end of the day, if I look into the all the web pages that I have clicked on, it will have VTop, and from VTop I moved into MS Teams. From MS Teams I have moved into Moodle, and then I have seen my VAT mail, and then I have seen my Gmail. So that like this, what are all the path which I have are covered. Okay, all the traces will be available, and it can be identified using this path completion task. Okay, and based on this, all the information will be stored and will be captured as an episode, and the episodes will be identified. Episodes identified in the sense what could be the episode from morning 9 to 10:30. After 10:30, I'm taking a small break. Okay, after 10:45 to 1 o'clock, what could be the episode? What is the history, or what could be the activity that can be captured over that particular episode? After that, I'm taking a lunch break. And after lunch break from 2 to 4:30, what could be the set of activities that has done by this particular user session? So like that, every sessions will be identified and their page views will be identified, and then the path completion can be done based upon the completion of the entire sessions, and based on those information we can create a episode files can be identified. That is also a timestamp based. So this is what sessionization is all about. So we'll just go straightly into some examples of this. Okay, so using the browser, there is an application server through which you're going to perform a login. For example, I have to log in into my VTop. Okay, into my VTop, I'm just going to log in it to my user and password credentials. Okay, and the application server is creating a session for me. So even in VTop, we have if we are not been active for the next 15 minutes, the automatically the session will get expired. Okay, so that is how a unique session ID will be created, and once you have been logging in, the timestamp will get accounted, and after the 15th minute of our inactivity, the session will get expired automatically. Okay, and then the user will send session ID for all the subsequent requests, and then it will send the request with the session ID for all the activity that I have to associate with VTalk. Once I am done with that, it will return, the server will return the response for the given session ID, and once it is finding some inactivity for the next few minutes, it will be fixed by some of the web server developers. Okay, it can either be 15 minutes or 10 minutes. This type of session, if we are looking into like some sensitive areas like banking sectors, banking and financial sectors, or where the data is has to be deal with very high security. Okay, in such cases, this sessionization is very crucial. Okay, we have to be much more focusing on this, creating the session, so that the breaching into through some users browsers could be avoided. Okay, so that is one form of sessionization. As I have told you before, this is going to be session 1. So there the user is landing in some first page, and after that they are landing into the second page of the same web page, and leaves for a lunch break. This page is open, and after another particular time, the session 1 will not continue. The session will get expired. Once again, the user has to log in, and they will go into the adding that particular product to the cart. They will check out. So this is going to be session 2. So this is how we can distinguish, and you can uniquely create a session, and make a note of it, like every session will have a unique session ID, which is encoded with the application server from where the user is making the request. Okay, so this is one form of application, and another is some more interesting sessions. You see over here, what could be the role of the person? Okay, and what is the time that particular user has logged in? What was the program he is working? See over here, there is one person is going. There is one of the testing command he is giving over Microsoft SQL Studio, and the query has been done, and the particular session ID will be given to you. Okay, and for every logging activity, the user sessions will be available over here, and how many CPU time it takes for completing that particular query, everything will be available as a log file. So this is out like is Microsoft SQL Server session file will be available like this. Okay, so this is how our client and server will communicate with each other. I hope you already know about this. See, this session IDs which are being available as a file. A session file is otherwise called as cookie. Okay, even in our web browser, you may encounter several cookies will be there. Okay, this out like it will it will save our data, but based upon the users. Uh, acceptance only, these cookies will be storing its data. In case if you don't want your browser to consistently or periodically store the information, you don't want to do like that, at the time you can make the cookie storage to off. Okay, you can deactivate those cookies, that is possible. Okay, so we'll go for identifying the sessions. Okay, so how to identify the sessions? Okay, the very important part is we couldn't identify anonymous proxy servers because this sessionization will have a biggest drawback due to the proxy servers and anonymizers and dynamic IP address, because you'll be missing the references because we couldn't make caching. Caching means all the session, for example, if you are just downloading some, if you are viewing some web pages, even though if the internet is getting off, the dynamic content will not be loaded. Other than that, all the static information available in that particular web page will be will exist for you, because those informations are downloaded and they are cached. Okay, that is called as that is how we can have the web pages to be available to us. Okay, so how we can identify the sessions? Okay, consider a user is going to enter the sites. Okay, and he is clicking several web pages and he is making use of those contents, and the person leaves it. Okay, so the entire activity that is performed by the user, starting from the initial landing into the website until the moment the user is leaving, that is called as session identification. Okay, this will become a hectic problem because of proxy servers and anonymous and dynamic IP addresses. Even now we do have like um, dark webs will be there. Dark webs in the sense that those some of the many web pages will be hidden from the users. Okay, in such cases we couldn't able to identify those sessions. We cannot identify those particular session URLs properly. Okay, so those are the drawbacks of this sessionization. Okay, so how we can construct the sessions? Okay, we can construct the sessions by mapping all the activities of the users who are connected to that particular web server, and also we have to perform several reconstruction of the sessions of the same individual who are visiting several websites. See, if you open our browser, several websites will be open to us. So for every tabs that we have opened, the session has to be recorded. That is very important. So we will construct the session not only based upon the user's activity, but also all the websites that particular users visited, and the dynamic content which is generated, and view to which what is the reaction of that particular online users. So everything will be accounted when we are constructing this session. Okay, so what happens while the user navigates the site? Okay, so we have to identify the users, and we can identify the users through the cookies in case if the cookies are being enabled, and the embedded session IDs will be stored in the cookies. So this is one form, and we can analyze the we can construct the sessionization based upon the user's IP address and the agent which is associated with the connection. Okay, so based on this, the sessions can be constructed. Okay, and the resulting logs, okay, resulting logs can be constructed, and the sessions can be identified based upon the two different strategy. One is based upon the user's IP address and agent, and based upon the sessions which are being identified, which are constructed through the enabled session IDs and the cookies which are being constructed. Okay, so this is a strategy for session construction. So how we can do this session construction? Either it can be time-based heuristic. Time-based means you take the user, he opens several tabs, you just start your sessionization program. Okay, from a particular timestamp T1, T2. You just fix the task, fix the threshold like 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you create a new session. Next to 30 minutes, what are all the web pages he visits? This is one form of sessionization. Another form of sessionization is navigation pattern. Okay, So his first page you just take, and what are all the activities that will be logged as a session. You take the next tab, next another web page will be there. All the activities, user behavior by the through that particular page, it will be recorded as a log. So based upon the navigation oriented heuristic, you can create the session. So you take the time as a concern, which is time oriented heuristic. You take a web page link, and what are all the activities associated with the users to this web page. Okay, that can be identified using this navigation oriented heuristic. You see over this example, there is one user is there. Okay, we are fixing a time oriented heuristic. Okay, for the first 25 seconds. Okay, and then the session can be dynamic also. It is like the time, even time, for example, for the first 25 seconds, what could be the session. Okay, for the next particular timestamp t2, what could be the session. It doesn't mean that this session time and this session time has to be the same. I hope you can got it. See, this is going to be my first session. This session I'm fixing the time as from 0 to 0 to from 25th second. I'm just ending over here, and then starting from next 25th second, there is a small break over there. From 25 to 1 minute, there is no such activity is over there. So we are just making a break over here. This is going to be first session. From the second session, the online user is starting from 1.115, and then he is making all the references, and he is completing the surfing by 1:36. So this is going to be session 1 and session 2. This is going to be the time based heuristic. The time don't want to be fixed, we can go with dynamic also. Okay, so this is how time based heuristic can be worked. Okay, so now how to identify the users. Okay, because several users are there. Even you see over here, the same IP address is there, the same IP address is over here. So how many users are there? Only one user is going to be there. Okay, so how we can identify the users? Using IP address and the agent who is provisioning the particular server to access, and then you can identify using the session IDs. Session IDs in the sense, if there is a common computer in our lab, okay, the computer will have one IP address associated with VAT. Okay, now uh, Moodle, through Moodle, some students are attending the quizzes. Okay, so for every same IP address is there, but first student is logging for the first hour. One student is coming and he is using the quiz. After 2 hours, another set batch of students are coming and they are making use of the system to attend the quiz. So for every user, okay, along with the IP address, session ID will also help us to uniquely identify which users have logged in into the particular session. Okay, and you can explicitly do by performing the registration process. Okay, not only based upon the browsing activity. Okay, you can make some explicit log. For example, if you want to access the computer in VAT labs, you'll be given a unique user ID and password for the particular computer. Okay, so for you, the particular registration based log will be available for you. So morning 9 to 10, okay, the particular student 17 BCE 1001, the particular username has been logged in. So that activity will be available. Okay, along with that, you will have the in a particular local mission. Okay, all the visits and the activity of the URLs will be stored in the cookies also. Okay, in advanced stage, you can make use of some external software agents also, which will help you to load the programs which needs to be given for the online users, and it will send back the user data through some software agents. You can pull and push the data to and from the browsers. Okay, so this is how you can perform user identification. So I'll just go into this. So there will be real sessions will be there. Okay, and user activity log will be available. So based on that, the constructions of the session will be done. Okay, so usually yeah, raw data will be given as a real session. This will be having several incomplete data, if several things will be available. Okay. Now the user activity will be stored as a log, and you will construct it based upon the appropriate session heuristic. Either it can be a time based or it can be a web page URL based. Okay. To see over this example, how we are identifying the users. Okay. So the user one is there. Okay. The user one is over here. Okay, so this is going to be the actual session data which is given to you. Based on this, you have to identify the users and you have to identify the sessions also. So how we can do that? Okay, so in this example, we are going to identify the users. Okay, so how we can identify the users? You just look into their IP address. Okay, if you are using this IP address, you can do. Okay, and what is URL? URL means from the web page they are landing, they are starting. Sorry, they are going to start their navigation and they are moving from A, B to A, and then C, B to C, and then E to C, and like that the person is traversing through the several URLs. Okay, so this is going to be user one. And user two, you just look into the IP address. I have told you, right? You using the IP address also, we can just simply differentiate the users. And after some point of time, this particular point of time, there is no activity for user one. You see over here, user one starts and he is ending here. Same computer, same IP address is used by some other user. Okay, just like having a common system in a lab. This is going to be student one is logging in, student two is logging in. This is with different IP address. So different IP address is there. Once again, another student is going to log into the same mission and he is identified as user three. Okay. So in this way, even the same user might be using this particular session, but the thing is, after the session break, he is going to start making use of them. It may be the same user or it can be a different user. But in this, our example is concerned, they are identifying the particular user as a different user. So in this way, you can identify the users. Okay. So next thing is page view. Okay. Page view in the sense based upon the click through concept. Okay, that is used upon the user's browsing activity. We can identify the users. Okay, we can identify the behavioral pattern of the users. Okay, and then path completion. Okay, as I have told you before, due to some things like proxy caching, okay, what will happen is most of the web pages might be missing its reference to download. Always remember, whenever you are visiting some pages, okay, always the browser will download the version of that particular web page in its local client machine. For example, if I'm using my laptop, if I am viewing the VAT page, okay, my browser will download some of the versions of that particular web page in my browser site as a cache. In the cache, it will download it. Once again, if I'm requesting for the same web page, okay, vat.ac.in, it will not request that particular web page to the server. Instead, the previously downloaded cache data about that web page in my client side. Okay, I'm in the client side. VAT web server is in the server side. Okay, the client side information will be returned instead of once again making the request for the server side. So that is how our client server will interact with it. Now, what is this path completion? Okay, so you see over here, due to this caching problem, in case if the page is not downloaded, okay, so what will be the problem? Okay, so you see over here from A to B, okay, B to D, D to E, and then D to E, E to B, and E to A into C, C to E, or C to E, F. So these are all several navigations this particular user has done starting from A. He is ending he may end up with some of the web page. Okay, so the problem here is, okay, the actual navigation is from A to B, B to D, D to E, E to D, D to B, and B to C. So based upon this, they have given a actual navigation. But in our server log, it will be out like A. Okay, the user is going to be B to A, Okay, and then D to B is there. D, okay, the referrer is B, which that means you see over here, you have to start, you have to see it from right to left. Okay, uh, A to B, okay, B to D, and then D to E, and B to C. But what about the cases C to E, C to F? All these things are missing. That is the problem over here. This is all the missing references due to caching. The reason is, okay, the web pages which have been available to the user, it will be cached in the client side. Once again, if the user visits the same page, okay, that particular path will be missed and it will not get stored in our server log, because that particular path will be cached, due to which the actual navigation path will not be available in the server. Okay, so this is one of the problem. Okay, so what is the solution for this is path completion. Okay, don't always rely on the server log. Okay, you just keep on monitoring the user's navigation path and pattern as well. Okay, so by collaborating these two inferences, okay, we can reconstruct our session and we can identify much more patterns that is available over here. Okay, that is called as path completion. Okay, and then this particular web usage mining is more prevailing in e-commerce events. Okay, if you want to Amazon, Flipkart, okay, and as all online shopping websites are making use of this clickstream analysis in order to uh, make several recommendations for the products like that. Okay, so this is of its type session analysis. We have some drawback and advantages. Okay, so customer behavior can be identified, and then specific problems with the particular sites can be identified. Drawback is, if you have much more log data, we couldn't able to generalize it. Okay, if your data is going to be some limited data, you can do, but for lots of data, the session analysis is quite, it doesn't mean that it is not possible. We have to do it batch by batch. That is the simple solution. And they have given some examples of it. And I'll tell you some interesting thing, how you can expect some form of question from this. Okay. So you'll be given a log data like this. Okay. See, the first user visits first log A, B A, C, B C, E C. So these are all the web pages that have been visited. Now the question is, which is the and using a priori algorithm to find out which page has the maximum visit, and find out the uh, association rule mining rules. Okay, with minimum support or minimum confidence. Like that, if I give a question like this, okay, so based upon this session data, you just ignore these things. Okay, if you are given a data, even if you given the full data, if I'm asking you to find out the web page which is most frequently visited in the given session, and which is the two web URLs which is most expected to be visited. Okay, based upon minimum support is going to be 2, and minimum confidence I'm just going to give it as some 50%. What you will do, you create the 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. Here there is no 3 set, only 1 set and 2 set will be coming. Okay, and based on that you just identify what happens if uh, a implies B. What is the confidence you find out? What is the confidence for C? E given C, you just find out. What is the confidence for D given B? What is the support? Okay, so the user who visited page number C, how what is the probability he could visit E? So like this you can build the session. Okay, you just look into the examine the sessions, and you can apply the API algorithm over here also. Okay, so like that also you can just have a look into this particular sensorization problem. Okay, so I will stop here, dear students. I'll stop presenting here. Okay, so now if you have any doubts, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Just give me a minute. I'll just share like feedback form. I just want to share with you. Presentation responses. Okay, VAT. Okay, restrict. Okay, web mining course. Okay, I will share the URL link for the feedback. Since this is going to be a last class, I'm sharing this. You please post your course feedback in this. It is purely anonymous. So I want everyone to post your feedback over here. Okay. See, look into the chat box. Just click on it, and you can submit the feedback. Web mining. Okay.